most consoles don't sound like airplanes anymore. Now that the new versions come out.
Nope. Alright, so I'm going to preface this by saying I've been watching pretty much all the heavy hitter content creators for this game, their reactions to this video. And I will say this, like, for you to know, it says alpha footage up there. That means that this is not the final copy of the game. This is not the final build of the game. They didn't put everything in. They literally just want to show us Terrance Crawford, the way he moves, and reveal a little bit of the nuance of the game and the detail of the game. I don't think that they meant for people to pick this footage apart, and I don't think it was meant for all that. I think they're expecting us to be a more mature community in terms of like gameplay development at this point. Just because they laid out the roadmap, they always put this alpha footage, work in progress up there at the top. I see people like complaining about the dumbest stuff, man. It's crazy. Just let these guys work, and you know what I mean. Not too many people that comments on these videos are actual developers to know what's what. But I'm taking it in stride, man. I think this looks good. I think that it's something to be excited about and look forward to, even if it's alpha footage. And more than likely, whenever a company reveals the footage they have when it's in the development process, whenever they reveal the footage they have, they're revealing it because they have better footage on hand. You know what I mean? They're always revealing a step behind where they actually are. They're not revealing what they just worked on today. That's stupid. So let's check it out. Terrance Bud Crawford out the gate. Yo, my man Kenny Bayless looks good right there. I mean, it's something. It almost looks like he's CGI'd into the ring. Like he's I think it's just the lighting on him in particular. You can tell they did a full body scan. Even the way he stands with like one leg straight and one leg bent, that's his classic stance. Like that's literally Kenny Bayless. Literally, he literally came in there and got scanned. But let's check it out.
It's in. That's right, I'm talking about 3 divisions. Let's take a look at one of boxing's pound-for-pound stars for the first...
Out the gate, the man is looking mad. This is pretty accurate. This is 100% on point. This is definitely Bud Crawford's demeanor. I like how they have, you can see like photographers. There looks like a celebrity right there who's sitting ringside, maybe somebody in Bud Crawford's corner. You can see his cornerman down here on the bottom left. And just the spotlight that's on him, the details that's put in there. You can see the ray tracing down here on the ring where the shadows are. You can see like exact shadows. I like how you can see shadows of the Raptors down here on the ring. You can see down here on the right by his feet that it's a shadow of something closer to the light. That's stupid detail that's not even necessary in a video game, but that's just how these dudes roll.
I'm ever in ESBC. That's right, I'm talking about 3 division champion Terrance Crawford. What will you be up against?
Look at the detail. The man looks mad. Now this is one thing, like I can't let this slide. Let's go back. I can't let this slide.
What will you be up against when you see him standing across the other side of the...
Bro, something looks weird about Kell Brook. I'm just saying, like, no matter what build it is, something about his shoulders looks a little narrow. He is a narrow guy. Like, he doesn't have wide, broad shoulders, but I don't know. I mean, his arms kind of look into his sides, but you know, his face looks great. His eyes are locked in on Bud Crawford's eyes, and the way Bud Crawford's head is facing, it looks like he's looking directly back in Kell Brook's eyes. Also, more detail we've never had in a boxing game. Kenny Bayless is looking right at Kell Brook because he's about to tell him to obey the rules and protect himself at all times. This is going to be great because I'm thinking forward, like when you create a fighter and you're going up against another creative fighter, maybe you can choose different demeanors to have pre-fight. That would be falling along the lines of the detail they're already showing us right here.
The ring, let's find out. You always feel like you have a chance at first against Terrance Crawford. He is a...
So this is my boy Boxing Fanatico, man. Definitely subscribe to his channel. He stays on top of all the ESBC stuff, like anything ESBC. But I mean, he still games on other games, and he's on the Roller Champions. But he dropped this footage, and he's actually the one controlling Bud Crawford in all of this footage. They actually sent him a copy of this build of the game and let him play it for a week on the low, and he dropped the footage today. So this is somebody that's actually in the community playing the game, and wow, man, just the fact that it's here, bro. It's here. There's a man folding his arms right there. He's anxious. You know what I mean? This is the beginning of a fight. The crowd is anxious. I do see like people in the crowd looking that way. That's kind of weird. And they're facing that way. Like they're facing as if there's a boxing match behind Kell Brook, which is weird. But like I said, I'm not here to pick it apart. You know what I mean? It is what it is. This is going to be an epic game regardless. Look at the snarl while they're punching, bro. This is...
But that's because he is downloading the blueprint to win the fight. Always has that great footwork. It's in and out of danger so effortlessly. He's always good at...
Now the footwork looks real fluent. Along the lines of the footwork, the Alpha Footwork trailer that they put out, just smoothened out. I will say this. I'm seeing a lot of fast movements. I want to see how the game responds when you want to go slow, when you want to take a half step, a quarter step. You know what I mean? When you want to take a half step in and shoot back. You know, like I want to see slower movements because most of this trailer is showing fast-paced action. You know, so where this, I mean, I've seen some alpha footage of guys moving around slowly, but I want to see where they are with that and how you can add that to part of your strategy, because a lot of fighters inch their way in and add that to, you know, their strategy, their repertoire. They don't go full force, always moving fast. Some fighters are more tactical with it. They take a half step in. They might bob and weave or feint, you know. I'm not even going to doubt Steel City, man. I'm 100%. They know what they're doing. I don't even have to tell them how to do this game and stuff, man.
Distance and the pace, he's always showing you different looks. Switches seamlessly from southpaw.
I do like that. I do like that. So this is the loose footwork that they've been talking about. Apparently, you're going to be able to click a button, maybe LB or L1, and change footwork into your shell footwork, into this loose footwork where you can use it to distract your opponent or throw off their timing. It looks cool. It's really how dudes box. You know, they're not always just up like this. You know, sometimes they have their own movements. So everybody having their own signature movement, that's a big deal. This is, to me, is comparable to when the basketball video game started adding in signature movements or signature dribbles or signature jumpers or signature dunks. Signatures, that's what escalates the game, when you can duplicate what people do in real life in the game and give the player control over doing that. This is going to be great, man, because now you're not stuck to the same cadence as the other person. You can switch up your cadence, your timing, your rhythm, and you know, when they punch here, maybe you can turn your loose movement on and then turn it off and jump back into your shell. I think it's endless. There's endless opportunity here with the foundation that they've set up. Just the fact that they found a control mapping scheme to fit all this in. That's amazing, man. You got games like 2K and Madden. We've had the same control schemes for 10 years and running. You know, nothing's changed as far as the foundation of how the game's played, and I think that's what's boring about a lot of those games. You know, I already know if I haven't played 2K in 10 years, I get on here and this button is turbo, this button's to shoot, this button's to euro, this button's to dunk, this button's to... There's no movement in that, so nothing feels fresh. You know, this is fresh because you're talking about, okay, I have my shell offense, and then I have my loose footwork offense. I have my shell defense, then I have my loose footwork defense. I have my bob and weave. I have my parry. It's endless. It's limitless. I think that, you know, a game like this, we're going to see the sweet science in action. I really believe that. I really believe we're going to see the sweet science.
Back. And one of his best assets, ring IQ. He can
I'm looking at the feet.
Just like that, he can crack you when you least expect.
I do like how they're looking at each other. Right here, you can see Bud Crawford is looking right into this man's eyes. Right into that man's eyes. That's...
And now here's Crawford beginning to pick up the pace.
Now some of these punches look a little... There's a little robotic... Man, honestly... Some of these, I think that some of it is simulation. Like, it's it's the fact that it's physics based, and most gaming companies have gotten lazy and gone away from physics based and gone to animation based. Now they need guys to come in and record animations all day, and that's the only way. Basically, the game is choosing what animation you get, and that's how the gamer ends up feeling like they're not really controlling what they're doing. It's because the game has an engine that chooses the animation for you. When a game is physics based, your animation is basically chosen by you, and there's physics that can stop that animation from happening. When it's animation based, that's where you have animation cuts where, you know, a football player, half his body is down into the field because the animation had to happen no matter what. This right here, I've seen a lot of people say that some of the punches look awkward. Maybe that's because you can't throw, you know, a hook and a jab at the same time, and the game is going to show you that, because it's going to be awkward. It's going to leave you vulnerable to attack. It's going to leave you open for a counterattack when you don't throw fluid combinations. And I think that it's easier to see it when both fighters have their feet planted, and I think that's what a lot of people are talking about, the awkwardness of your feet being planted and you throwing a combination that's not fluid, you know. And bruh, if it's like that, it's gonna be over for button mashing. I already see it's over for button mashing. Button mashers to the back. The button mashing days are done. I'm sick of Fight Night. It's the only boxing game out there. I've resorted to playing against the AI, man. Because you get online and there's some 6-year-old who can just mash buttons, and you're sitting there trying to fight and actually box and enjoy the sweet science and enjoy strategy and having a tactical way of going about the game like a real match. And this dude's just spamming the same straight over and over again the whole fight. And he can do this the whole fight. And no matter what, beat you. I don't get it. Who makes a game that works like that? Bruh, if it's over for button mashing, I'm gonna be nice at this game, man. If it's over for button mashing, I'm gonna be nice at this game. I'm pretty sure.
Intensity starting to land at will now. And once he gets
oh, look at the combinations. Okay, I just seen a detail I didn't see earlier.
Starting to land at will now.
This guy right here, bro, this is 2022 detail in gaming. The fight's happening in the ring. There's a guy leaned over the side of the ring, and he's looking up, and his head is, you know, he's actually following the fight. He's not this stationary guy that's just sitting there looking into blank space like you see in spectators on other games. This guy is following the fight. Maybe he's in the guy's corner. Maybe later he moves and says something. That's stupid detail. That's crazy detail. The guy with his hand in his pocket, he looks anxious. I'm just looking at the stuff around the fight.
And shoot. And when he gets those hands going, they look like a blur. When Crawford has your timing, you're like a sitting duck.
Yo, I love the reactions to the punches are on point. A lot of times in fighting games or boxing games, you'll see a guy get hit this way and his head will go that way. You know, in this game, they're getting knocked back, but they're not staying back there. You know, they're reacting to it. You can see the grimace on their face when they get hit, and then when they come back to from that hit, their face goes back normal. That's incredible. That's incredible detail.
Arguably the number one pound for pound.
You can see it. Bud Crawford took a punch while he was throwing a combination right there and try to hit it on the money. Man, I'm not gonna be able to hit that, but you can see his neck turn like this, and he's throwing the next punch. His face comes back plain.
The number one pound for pound fighter in the world, and there he starts.
These are mean combinations.
He never stays in the pocket too long, even though
Fanatical is hurting these boys. Oh man, I love that it's it's not animation, it's physics based. So you can throw a punch, a clean punch, and if the person's glove is right there, the glove's gonna deter it a little bit. If their arm is right there, you're gonna hit their arm, which in boxing is a big part of boxing. Hitting people's shoulders, their arms, you know, their chest, things like that wears you down over time. It bruises your arm. It can break you. It can break you. You know, and that's part of boxing. If they make that part of this game, it's gonna be limitless strategy, from, you know, the footwork chess game to the feint game, you know, a defensive strategy and an aggressive offensive strategy, you know, a counter striker, you know, a counter puncher strategy. You know, if you want to break down the guy's body first, if you want to be a headhunter, I feel like you can make your mind up before the game, implement that strategy into how you play this game, and then still be able to make adjustments just because they left that much freedom to you. It's crazy at the top, up here at the top, you can see there's spectators way up there in these box suites that's walking around eating food and stuff. That's crazy, man. There's blood on the canvas right here. We have blood. We have the bellman right here. We've got 2 judges right here with scorecards. We got a guy right here that's counting the punches. You know, man, this is crazy. This is crazy. I don't think boxing's ever had this.
And we know what happens when he smells blood. He's 38-0 with 29 knockouts, and he's coming to get you, especially if you stay on the ropes. What a big right. He's going crazy. He's letting his hands go, and you got no shot.
I love that, you can almost feel these punches. I love the sound that they got. I don't know where they got that sound effect, but the thud, the body blows, you can really hear it. And I think that the power that they have in this controller, maybe when you're with the haptic controls, maybe when you're under fire and the person is loading up and firing off at you, maybe your triggers get harder to match. Maybe the buttons get harder to match. All that stuff is fully capable in next gen. So I want to see a gaming company actually use all of the features that we paid $1,000 for the PlayStation 5. But just to see the detail, I see spectators now, because the fight's on this side of the ring, now they're leaned over looking like this. They're not still leaned over like this, like it's in front of them. They're leaned over looking like they're trying to get a better view of it. Incredible. Ooh. The knockout animations are, woo! Oh my goodness gracious. It looks like right here on this last knockout, Conor Ben's already knocked out. Right there, he's knocked out. And it looks like they are going to give you a chance to, like, finish him type thing. Right here. And then, boom. He ragdolled to the floor. Look at the ragdoll.
And I'm out of breath.
That's Bud Crawford, bro. Like, that's Bud Crawford right there, man. The man came in and got scanned. You can see his taper on his fade. Just the way he sit, like, they cleaned up the sweat. There was a lot of complaints about the sweat not looking right and being too much sweat or not enough sweat. This looks about right. When the fight started, the guys were dry. The fight is over, the guys dripping with sweat. That's progression that other games haven't got. You know, like, you have basketball games that's been going on for years and years and years, and they can't get that part right. Just the slight details. You had people saying that they looked ashy. They don't look ashy no more. Even just the detail of his deltoid right here, the collarbone going into the deltoid right here, you can see it with the shadow in the deltoid. This is crazy stuff that they're doing, man. I really, this is I hope that we get my career information soon, or at least information about online ranked mode, what online modes we're gonna have. They kind of already showed us the online hub is gonna be like a training gym where you go to, you know, over here, this station you can go online, this station you can go to career, and it's just exciting, man, because we've been waiting a long time. Anybody that's just, you know, basketball player can't imagine, a football player can't imagine, a tennis player. Yo, they got lacrosse games and rugby games that's come out in the last 10 years, that's come out in the last 5 years. NASCAR has a game, drag racing has a game. I mean, there's no sport that doesn't have a game. Boxing doesn't have a game. That's a topic for another video. I get why it hasn't been a boxing game in a while, you know, to an extent. These companies have enough money to do it. It's always just been about effort level and a development company having an actual passion for the sport itself. Every game that gets made is because somebody somewhere has a passion. Then nobody's making lacrosse and rugby games and they don't care about the sport. That's a niche sport, kind of like boxing. You know, like growing up, boxing was a mainstream sport. You turn on, you know, your ESPN or your regular TV channel, you can watch boxing. Now it's a niche sport. It's a pay-per-view sport. You have to pay to watch it, pay to watch the major fights. And that's pushed a lot of people. That's pushed the next generation away. Cause we live in a generation now. It's all about streaming. And once I pay this subscription fee, I want to be able to watch everything you got. It's not about pay $50 this weekend. Oh, this next fighter's fighting this next weekend. We pay another $50. Oh, it's another fight next month. We pay another $60. Ain't nobody doing all that, bro. So to have to be able to make a boxing game, you have the PBC, the WBC, the WBO, the PBA. You got the junior lightweight, the junior middleweight. You have all of these people you have to contact to sign a fighter to your game. For Bud Crawford, they got to go to the top rank. You know what I mean? For this other guy, they got to go to the zone. For Tyson Fury, they got to go to WBC. And it's crazy, man. And all these billion-dollar companies said that's too much work. This company started with a small studio, 12 to 15 guys, 12 to 15 boxing enthusiasts, and they've grown. They've gotten investments over time, and here we are. They have every single one of the biggest boxing names that you can have. They're missing one, Errol Spence Jr., but we have Canelo, we have Bud Crawford, we have Tyson Fury, we have Deontay Wilder. We've got every legend to ever fight in this game that's going to be on the roster. The roster is the largest roster ever in a boxing game ever. I say that to say this. Steel City is doing a great job, but we need to have this game out by December. Why do I say that? You want to start the next boxing calendar with a full... You want to start the next calendar year, with a full slate of promotional availability for this game. If it's ready in January, you don't miss any of the fighters you have signed on here, then you can actually hop into the boxing scene with the game. Now the game can sponsor, it can be a part of the endorsements, the sponsors, it can be a part of the pay-per-views. Now you're getting the word out there about the game. Now you're making more money. We can't go into the Christmas holiday season without this game. And I think we'll have it by December. I'm gonna go to bed on that is coming out by December. We're gonna have our hands on it. But anyway, thanks for checking it out, man. I hope we keep getting more. I think if we get any more news in the next week, I'm gonna say we're closer to early access than we ever thought. You know, it was a lot of people when they said that they're going back in the direction of early access. It was a lot of people that said it's gonna be 2024. And here they are, you know, like just today, dropping footage of the largest name that they have on the game other than Canelo right now. And that means that it's about there. Damian Lillard said the game was 80% done 3 months ago. So they're just sitting on it. I'm sure they have, you know, a time frame that they feel is best as far as exposure and getting the game out, selling the most copies possible. I think getting the early access out there is going to do even more for that, because I know once I touch it, I'm going to call my homie. He's going to come over and touch it, and then he's going to go home. He's going to download it. He's going to tell his homie about it. Hey, you at least got to download it, bro. It's whatever it is, $20, whatever the early access is. Yo, put the game out, bro. Put the game out.